Hi there and welcome. This is Book of Mormon Reader. We are reading Ether 2 in the Book of Mormon today, and thank you for joining me. So the Book of Mormon, Ether chapter 2. And it came to pass that Jared and his brother and their families, and also the friends of Jared and his brother and their families, went down into the valley which was northward, and the name of the valley was Nimrod, being called after the mighty hunter, with their flocks which they had gathered together, male and female of every kind. And they did also lay snares, and catch fowls of the air, and they did also prepare a vessel, in which they did carry with them the fish of the waters. And they did also carry with them Deseret, which, by interpretation, is a honey bee. And thus they did carry with them swarms of bees, and all manner of that which was upon the face of the land, seeds of every kind. And it came to pass that when they had come down into the valley of Nimrod, the Lord came down and talked with the brother of Jared, and he was in a cloud, and the brother of Jared saw him not. And it came to pass that the Lord commanded them that they should go forth into the wilderness, yea, into that quarter where there never had man been. And it came to pass that the Lord did go before them, and did talk with them as he stood in a cloud, and gave directions whither they should travel. And it came to pass that they did travel in the wilderness, and did build barges, in which they did cross many waters, being directed continually by the hand of the Lord. And the Lord would not suffer that they should stop beyond the sea in the wilderness, but he would that they should come forth even unto the land of promise, which was choice above all other lands, which the Lord God had preserved for a righteous people. And he had sworn in his wrath unto the brother of Jared, that whoso should possess this land of promise, from that time henceforth and forever, should serve him, the true and only God, or they should be swept off when the fullness of his wrath should come upon them. And now we can behold the decrees of God concerning this land, that it is a land of promise, and whatsoever nation shall possess it shall serve God, or they shall be swept off when the fullness of his wrath shall come upon them. And the fullness of his wrath cometh upon them when they are ripened in iniquity. For behold, this is a land which is choice above all other lands. Wherefore he that doth possess it shall serve God, or shall be swept off, for it is the everlasting decree of God. And it is not until the fullness of iniquity among the children of the land that they are swept off. And this cometh unto you, O ye Gentiles, that ye may know the decrees of God, that ye may repent, and not continue in your iniquities, until the fullness come, that ye may not bring down the fullness of the wrath of God upon you, as the inhabitants of the land have hitherto done. Behold, this is a choice land, and whatsoever nation shall possess it shall be free from bondage, and from captivity, and from all other nations under heaven, if they will but serve the God of the land, who is Jesus Christ, who hath been manifested by the things which we have written. And now I proceed with my record. For behold, it came to pass that the Lord did bring Jared and his brethren forth even to that great sea which divideth the lands. And as they came to the sea, they pitched their tents, and they called the name of the place Moriancomor, and they dwelt in tents, and dwelt in tents upon the seashore for the space of 4 years. And it came to pass at the end of 4 years that the Lord came again unto the brother of Jared, and stood in a cloud, and talked with him. And for the space of 3 hours did the Lord talk with the brother of Jared, and chastened him, because he remembered not to call upon the name of the Lord. And the brother of Jared repented of the evil which he had done, and did call upon the name of the Lord for his brethren who were with him. And the Lord said unto him, I will forgive thee and thy brethren of their sins, but thou shalt not sin any more. For ye shall remember that my spirit will not always strive with man. Wherefore, if ye will sin until ye are fully ripe, ye shall be cut off from the presence of the Lord. And these are my thoughts upon the land which I shall give you for your inheritance, for it shall be a land choice above all other lands. And the Lord said, Go to work and build, after the manner of barges which ye have hitherto built. And it came to pass that the brother of Jared did go to work, and also his brethren, and built barges after the manner which they had built, according to the instructions of the Lord. And they were small, and they were light upon the water, even like unto the lightness of a fowl upon the water. And they were built after a manner that they were exceedingly tight, even that they would hold water like unto a dish. And the bottom thereof was tight like unto a dish, and the sides thereof were tight like unto a dish, and the ends thereof were peaked, and the top thereof was tight like unto a dish. And the length thereof was the length of a tree, and the door thereof, when it was shut, was tight like unto a dish. And it came to pass that the brother of Jared cried unto the Lord, saying, O Lord, I have performed the work which thou hast commanded me, and I have made the barges according as thou hast directed me. And behold, O Lord, in them there is no light. Whither shall we steer? And also we shall perish, for in them we cannot breathe, save it is the air which is in them. Therefore we shall perish. And the Lord said unto the brother of Jared, Behold, thou shalt make a hole in the top, and also in the bottom. And when thou shalt suffer for air, thou shalt unstop the hole, and receive air. And if it so be that the water come in upon thee, behold, ye shall stop the hole, that ye may not perish in the flood. And it came to pass that the brother of Jared did so, according as the Lord had commanded. And he cried again unto the Lord, saying, O Lord, behold, I have done even as thou hast commanded me, and I have prepared the vessels for my people. And behold, there is no light in them. Behold, O Lord, wilt thou suffer that we shall cross this great water in darkness? And the Lord said unto the brother of Jared, What will ye that I should do that ye may have light in your vessels? For behold, ye cannot have windows, for they will be dashed in pieces. Neither shall ye take fire with you, for ye shall not go by the light of fire. For behold, ye shall be as a whale in the midst of the sea, for the mountain waves shall dash upon you. Nevertheless, I will bring you up again out of the depths of the sea. For the winds have gone forth out of my mouth, and also the rains and the floods have I sent forth. And behold, I prepare you against these things, for ye cannot cross the great deep, save I prepare you against the waves of the sea, and the winds which have gone forth, and the floods which shall come. Therefore, what will ye that I should prepare for you, that ye may have light when ye are swallowed up in the depths of the sea? Well, hello, if you're still with me and ready for my commentary. I always am amazed at what new discovery I find in the scriptures, that day, today, this day. And I love the dialogue that's going on here between the Lord and the brother of Jared. I just love it. It's interesting to me that there are two problems that the brother of Jared brings to the Lord, and he talks about air and he talks about light. And the first problem the Lord solves for him, and he says, cut a little hole and stop it up like a cork. And the second problem, the light, he asks the brother of Jared to solve that problem. What will ye that I should do? So we know from the chapters we've read in the past, because we're going backwards, how this turns out. We know that the brother of Jared decides to make a little trek and find these stones, and he asks the hand of the Lord to touch them and to cause them to have light. And interesting also, for what we know, that the revelation that the Lord witnessed such amazing faith in the brother of Jared that he finally could not even withhold his own presence from him, that he showed himself completely. Not only did he show himself, but that he revealed a full and complete vision from time to all time, so that he could see everything. So this is the pre, these are part of the leading, what leads up to having that kind of faith. It begins with the brother of Jared, that he is willing to have this dialogue with the Lord, isn't it? It's interesting because since we know what happened after this, because we're going backwards, we know that so far this is sort of what's leading up to that amazing experience that he had. I mean, this experience is amazing, but we know that the next one is even greater. So he says he talked with him, and the Lord actually directed him, told him how to build these boats, these barges. And I can't remember how many were there. I think there were 7 of these barges. They were smaller than the ark, but they basically did several things where they tell them to get their flocks together, male and female of every kind, like they did with Noah. And then they had bees. I thought, wow, that must have been an experience to travel with bees. Hopefully that they just did what they do, which is make honey instead of be angry. That would be really scary, to be in an enclosed situation with all these animals. But of course, I haven't really grown up with animals, so maybe people who do and who live on farms and who work with animals in zoos, I know they develop a love for them, and also a confidence that I know I personally don't have. This particular part 2, where the Lord gives directions whether they should travel, and he talks with them in very very frequent bouts of conversation. He doesn't have a one-time appearance and then leave them alone until they do it. He's continually there in their lives, which is kind of an interesting it's an interesting thing. And also the other part that's pretty incredible about this particular chapter, and I'm not sure if a lesser person could withstand this kind of a chastisement, but it says here, is that verse 16? Let me just go quick, fast forward to there. Okay, here we go. In verse 14, at the end of 4 years, which that kind of does make you wonder, okay, why are you waiting 4 years at the edge of the water? The Lord comes again. He stands in a cloud and talks with them, and then for the space of 3 hours did the Lord talk with the brother of Jared. And he chastened him because he remembered not to call upon the name of the Lord. Interesting. 3 hours. Can you even stand it for 1 minute to have somebody chastise you? And for 3 hours, well, what was it the Lord said to him in 3 hours? How did the brother of Jared react when he was being chastened? Was he crying? Was he kneeling? Was he laying on the ground? Did he have his face towards him? I don't know. How do you when people say things to you that you don't exactly like to hear, even though you may need to hear them, how do you respond? Are you willing to receive criticism or chastisement? Do you give someone the silent treatment? Do you yell at them? Do you get back at them? Are you passive aggressive? So this really tells me a lot about Jared. That's something that I can learn from. That, you know what, from time to time, we do need to be reminded of things that we could improve on. But boy, I just wonder what, honestly, you think the brother of Jared was doing all these great things. Why did the Lord chasten him of all people? And if he can chasten him, who is supposedly a righteous guy, how much more does he have to chasten people who are, openly wicked? And yet, interestingly enough, the people who are openly wicked and who have this coarse and callous attitude toward the Lord, they won't hear it anyway. They put it past feeling and they won't hear it. So maybe the ability to receive chastening has to do with humility, and that really it's a blessing. It's a real blessing for us to be chastened. The timing of this is interesting, and I'm not sure if this is really related. However, a friend of mine posted a link to an article about Oprah and how she said 2012 kicked my butt. And you could hear and feel the, I think the surprise of the struggle that she had as she started her new network. And I think that the chastening that she received was from the lack of success that she had, because she has known incredible success for most of her career. But going out on her own and beginning a new network and losing a lot of people because of what happened several years ago with the choices that she made, it's been a chastening thing. And yet I've heard in sort of her allowing to receive it, what is there for me to learn from this? How can I grow as a person? What is it that I need to do to be better? Because I imagine when you reach a certain level of competency and success and confidence, that you also have with it a level of arrogance. And like, oh, everything I do will, I have the Midas touch, I will do something great. And so people like her, or people like Donald Trump, or people like, who have that, and then they experience a setback, I'm sure it is humbling. But people who have great character learn from those things, and they take it, rather than beat themselves up, they take it as an opportunity to grow, and an opportunity to be better, and an opportunity to involve a level of growth for themselves. Most people think, oh, growing would be great, but they don't want to go through the hard work that it takes to get there. So I was grateful to see that in Oprah. I was grateful to see that also here in the brother of Jared. Not sure if you feel those two things are related, but the idea of being chastened and to be able to receive chastening with grace is something that I think every single one of us can learn from. And a lot of times, great people ask for feedback, ask for ways to improve. This is not just a way to improve as far as brother Jared goes with the Lord, but I think it's worth mentioning that he was in a place that he could receive it. And I think that speaks very highly of him, that the Lord felt that, he's not going to destroy this person by chastening him, but he's actually going to equip him with more of what he'll need to get through to the place and the person that he was intended and meant to be, that God needed him to be. And it kind of makes you, oh my gosh, this journey I'm on, it's so long, it's so hard, and let me just take a rest here, And so with all that they had done, and maybe some of the seeds, maybe they planted the seeds. It takes a season to grow seeds, obviously. And he was there waiting for 4 years before the Lord made him go again. So maybe they just thought, oh, let me get comfortable here. People want to put down roots. They don't like to keep moving around. And I know that from firsthand experience. So interesting that he says, I'll forgive you. The Lord says, I will forgive you. Just one more thing. You may find this funny, but I had this dog. She was the most adorable. She was a Cocker Spaniel, and she was the runt of her litter when I got her for Christmas. so many, many years ago. She has now since passed away. But I remember when her name was Buffy, and when we would, chastise her, it was so funny. She would just sort of like look the other way and sort of close her eyes, like she was like, I can't hear you if I'm not looking at you. She'd sort of like blink her eyes and close her eyes, like, I don't want to listen to you yelling at me. Anyway, so I think about that chastising. Puppy, what did you do? And she just would close her eyes. Hilarious. Anyway, this is hard to hear sometimes, and if we do this enough of on our own, don't we? Some of us are very hard on ourselves, but to have us be in a place that the Lord can chastise us, that is a very, I think that speaks highly, that the Lord realizes we can handle it, and that He wants to, we're in this place, He wants to move us to another place. We have to get from point A to point B before we can get to point C. And when we look, let's say we're standing on the edge of the street, we can't really see except to the end of one street. And then when we run to the end of that street, then we can see, to another street. And we just can't see with our mortal limitations, much further than, a little bit ahead. And so we have to trust that the Lord has a grander view for us and a greater vision, that He can see more for us, and that we can't be trapped in our finite limitations of mortality and try to get comfortable, because we're still not where the Lord needs us to be. The Lord has great, great plans for us. He has great plans for me, and He has great plans for you. And if you're getting complacent and you're not in a place where you're growing, you're probably comfortable, but guess what? We are still in mortality, and comfort is really not, as horrible as that is, we're not here to have a good time. We're here to be tested. And this isn't the part where it's the happily ever after yet. And if we realize that, well, I think we'll be able to accept with grace the many challenges and struggles that come upon us, that the Lord feels that we're worthy enough to receive these tribulations so that we can grow to a greater place. I know some of the tribulations that I have endured personally, as much as I hated going through them, I know that they were the times of my greatest humility and my greatest place where I felt like I had to be in the palm of the Lord, because I just couldn't do it on my own. I just couldn't do it on my own. I saw this comic the other day. You've seen, the footprints in the sand. There's 2 footprints in the sand, and it says, oh, the Lord looks at the footprints, or you're looking at the footprints and there's 2, and sometimes there's only 1 set of footprints, and the Lord says, this is where, I walked with you through, your trials. And then you go, but Lord, how come sometimes you left me alone? And He goes, oh, when there's only 1 set of footprints, that's when I carried you. And people go, oh, that's sweet. It's called Footprints in the Sand, I think. Well, this comic had it said, and those parts where there's 1 set of footprints and this crazy thing, he goes, that's when I was dragging you. When I was dragging you. Boy, do I feel like that has been part of my journey, what the Lord has had to drag me through certain through certain hard things in life. Let me just make a quick little, as I scroll down here, about the ships themselves. There's a really cool video, I may have mentioned it, about this is just a homemade video, and this guy with a sink full of some water, and he's talking about ether and the barges. You may want to reference it. If I can find it, I'll try and include the link. But it's called I think it's called the barges, or Ether 2, or whatever it is. But he shows how he thought that would work, and I think it's the manner of travel and the horrible conditions that they must have endured. I mean, imagine being completely rolled in the water, that they had to, from the top or the bottom, like whichever side is up, unstop that so you can get air. Plus it was a little bit dark besides the light inside. So my goodness, they really had some awful conditions. but they made it. And the part that's incredible, which we didn't get from this chapter, but I happen to know it, they traveled almost a year in these conditions. So, I mean, I guess after a certain amount of time, a person sort of acclimates themselves to their horrible conditions. And I can kind of see how that happens, because if there's enough of you together, you sort of learn how to commiserate with each other. And my husband, as I've mentioned before, he's been taking BYU Idaho pathway courses, and he's been sort of, quote, traveling with another group of students who also are beginning, who haven't been to school in ages. And even though each one of them has to carry their own workload, they're responsible for their own testing, their own, everything's an online experience. They can once a week get together and sort of commiserate and to lift each other. I'm imagining it really does lift each other to know that they're all kind of going through the same struggles, and that that they are a blessing to each other. And I think that is a blessing. So these people, I wonder, because of the different segments of travel, I think there were 7 ships. I'm not sure about that. That, how did they decide which animals were going inside? Because I'm sure they had to sustain life for everybody who was in those things. Which kinds of, they had to have separate, full-on, separate, fully sustaining ways to have water and to eat and to everything, all self-sustaining within their own barges, because they couldn't trade with each other with what they had as a group. They each had to be, self-sustaining. I think there's a great principle in that for us, that when we were preparing for some of the calamities that are to come to us because of the iniquity that is mentioned here, because here we are, we're living in this land they spoke of, we're living in America, and we can see that the iniquity is ripening. And it's been clear from this that iniquity is the signal to the Lord that they have to be wiped off. And that to me is a little bit scary. But that to be able to prepare, and for the things that will come, that we can be self-sufficient anyway and be prepared for bad things that may come. One more thing too, let's see. I'm checking in my guide here before I close. I know I'm running out of time. Topics for discussion. Oh, why that the Lord would think it's a sin to be slothful. We've mentioned a little bit about the need for growth, and that if we feel comfortable and we're not stretching ourselves, that the Lord actually may consider that a sin. So that we should really inflict upon ourselves goals that will make us challenge and grow, and almost make us throw up when we hear ourselves making that kind of a goal. I want to close today with a message of gratitude for you. I did check my my email for Blonde Book of Mormon Reader at gmail.com, and I have great stats that are increasing. Thank you very much. I post those on my Facebook and also my Twitter. There are some great things that happen on Twitter that Twitter's an interesting place. It doesn't things that happen on there don't really happen anyplace else. So if you're not a part of Twitter yet, I do invite you to join me. So thank you again for joining me today. I hope you found our discussion stimulating. And Ether 2, we're about to end that with Ether 1 tomorrow. So thank you for joining me, and we will see you tomorrow with Ether 1.